Welcome to my handy pocket guide on how to write emails. Here you're going to learn how to beat the inbox odds and avoid that dastardly delete button. Better still, you're going to learn how to get people to click, read and act upon your emails. By the end of this lecture, you are going to know the secret to writing stunningly successful emails. You're going to have 5 proven tips to get more open clicks and sales, and you're going to have 2 simple but powerful formulas you can use for every email you will ever write again. So let me ask you a question. When you're going through your emails, and I bet if you're like most people, you get dozens of the things, which ones do you open and which ones do you delete? This is our first hurdle as copywriters, standing out in an overcrowded inbox. And the key to doing this is to offer something of value or to communicate in a fresh, personal or engaging way. So my first tip is to get personal. Think of emails like having a conversation. So always address your reader by name. Share some common ground if possible. And what I mean by that is if you can reference previous conversations you've had or something that your reader may have told you before, like about a holiday, you could say, how was your holiday? It's just something to show that you remember this person and therefore that you value them. It's not always possible, but if it is, go for it. Write for one person. Remember, as I said before, try not to sound like you're writing to lots of people. So instead of writing those of you, just write you. You want people to feel like you're just writing for them. Use a conversational tone. You know that well by now. And of course, that means being direct and using the word you a lot, as I've just said. Tip 2 is to spend time writing a really good subject line. Now, your subject line is your headline. And so, of course, it's ridiculously important, but never more so than in a very, very overcrowded inbox. So, another question for you. When your inbox is groaning under the weight of emails, which ones do you open first? Yep, me too. The ones from friends, family, and people I know. And that's because they're not trying to sell to you generally. They're often descriptive, and you know what you're going to get inside the email, and they don't include buzzwords or jargon, and they kind of get to the point, don't they? So here are some examples. Things like this. My new website is live. What do you think? Pizza making on Saturday? Oh my God, I got the job. Or inspirational photos I handpicked for you today. Here are some quick subject line tips for you. 1, use simple language. Keep it short and descriptive. Avoid spammy words like sale, help, or percent. And don't use cheesy lures that don't deliver in the email. And what I mean by cheesy lures is clickbait, by which I mean people get all excited when they read the subject line and they click open the email only to find that it doesn't deliver what they were promised in the subject line. Tip 3, formulas. Remember those copywriting formulas you learned earlier in the course? Now, these are scientifically proven ways to structure your emails to increase reader engagement. What's not to love? Now, I find formulas more effective generally than email templates. Templates can be quite restricting, so I'm just warning you to slightly beware of them because they don't tend to account for your specific audience or topic, whereas a formula is elastic. You can mould and shape it to whatever you're writing for, whoever you're writing for. Here's an example of an email using the PAS formula from a recruitment agency. Dear Christina, are you struggling to find the right staff? That's the pain. Then I agitate it. I know how hard and time consuming it can be to find good people to grow your business. And then I'm ready there with the solution. We have a track record for unearthing top talent in your sector and a long list of candidates ready to talk to you today. This works particularly well because people will do almost anything to avoid pain. Time for a copy mission. In the next email, I've used the AIDA formula. I'm just going to remind you what that is. AIDA stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. So you want to grab your reader's attention, you want to stoke their interest, you want to make them desire what you've got, then spark them to action. Pause the video and note down where I've used the formula in the following copy. How did you get on? Okay, here's the formula in action. Let's run through it quickly together. So I'm grabbing the reader's attention by saying, we can create the garden of your dreams for less than the cost of a weekend break. Then I'm stoking their interest by saying, imagine your garden redesigned by award-winning landscapers, a stunning space to relax and entertain, all without breaking the bank. And then I'm using desire to make them feel a bit of FOMO, a bit of fear of missing out. Over 50 homes in your area are now the envy of their neighbours, enjoying beautiful gardens, increased curb appeal and an increase in house value. So I'm demonstrating some really fantastic benefits that the customer might get from buying this. And finally, it gives me an action to take. My call to action. Interested? Call us today for a no obligation quote. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel every time you write an email. Use one of the formulas and it's going to make what you're doing a lot easier and it's going to increase your chances of getting a response. Tip 4, keep it concise. Long emails don't get read. That is a fact. So be generous, as I always say, and keep it short. Long emails, they tend to frustrate and annoy your reader, so just don't go there. Here's a good exercise for you. In your next email, can you say what you need to say in 3 sentences, or 150 words, or even less? It's not always going to be possible, but it's an exercise that will help you, it'll teach you to get to the point quicker and avoid waffling. And as you practice, you will get better, I promise you. Tip 5, be useful. If you're sending an email to stay in touch with someone or build a long-lasting relationship, like a newsletter, then you're more likely to flag down their attention if you offer something useful. Copyblogger calls it cookie content. Whatever you do, make your reader glad that he or she took the time to open, read, and digest your email like a delicious cookie. Pro tip. If you ask 10 people how to write emails, you'll probably get 10 different answers. That's because copywriting, it's a social science. It's based on humans, and there are hundreds of variables. So my advice, don't get yourself in a tangle. Don't get too hung up on things like the ideal subject line length or the best time of day to send your emails. Just test and practice and see what works best for your audience. I've got 3 bonus quick fixes for you, which are going to take your emails up to another level. Now, first of all, add a clear call to action. You know that already. But what I want you to do is add it at least twice, and if not 3 times, if you can. Don't rely on people to just see your call to action at the bottom of the email. If you can place it a few times within the email, you're going to encourage them to click it and take it. 2, use your PS. This is a good place to repeat your call to action or to add some urgency. So you could put, PS, you've only got 24 hours to grab this deal, don't miss it. That sort of thing. If you want more people to open your email, it's much better to send it from a real person, a real name, rather than a company. So from James Bond would be much better than from the British Secret Service. Okay, let's recap what you've just learned in this epic lecture on emails. You've learned that personalising your emails is the secret to attracting and keeping your readers' attention. You've learned 5 tips to get more opens, clicks, and ultimately sales. And you've learned to use the PAS or AIDA formula to increase your chances of getting the response you want. Why not start using what you've learned in your next email? The more you practice, the easier and the more intuitive it will become. Thank you so much for listening. Now, if you're looking to improve your website copywriting skills, hop on over to the next chapter and I'll see you there.